He just became rather a life coach in order to help fellow veterans to transition from military to civilian life.
Yes, and to tell us more about his important work, we are joined by Stephen Nally this morning. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. Well,
thanks for joining us. And again, thanks for your service. Quickly tell us about your time in the military and how it has led you to where you are today, becoming a life coach.
Sure. I was a light infantry squad leader with the 10th Mountain Division. I mean, the amazing thing about my transition when I came off of active duty is the infantry really doesn't translate well in a resume, to get a job at AT&T or a customer service position or anything in the corporate world, because it's basically all the work is done in the field, pretty much like the combat soldiers that you see on TV. So I had to create a path or a transition path to be able to correlate that experience to the civilian world. And that's essentially where this basis of knowledge comes from.
Right. I mean, and when you think about it, when you are in the military, you get excellent training, not just out there on the field, but as a person. And so, like you said, it's kind of surprising to know that you have a hard time translating all of that into a resume. So you got 5 tips on how your fellow veterans can make it easier to transition into life. So tell us about that. We've got 5 on board here. What's your number 1?
No, absolutely. I mean, the first one starts before you even get out, and it's making sure that you have all your paperwork before you leave your duty station. One of the most important documents you're going to have is your DD-214. And for the civilians out there, that essentially is your career records from the military. You want to make sure that you have your dental, your medical, your performance appraisals, all of your documents, because once you leave your duty station, those documents are very, very hard to get. While you're on duty, you just run up to battalion and you can get a copy of them. But once you leave, now you're dealing with St. Louis or some other place, and you're in a letter writing campaign.
So get it before
because you're going to need those personnel records to present for employment.
All right. And when you say create, an operations order, is that similar to getting all of that? What's number 2 on your list? Is that the same?
No, that's a business plan. When we're in the military, somebody else is creating the training plan and the daily task, and we're showing up and we're executing and we're performing. But when we come back to the civilian world, we're waking up every morning at whatever time we choose, and we have to have our own business plan, our own plan to execute with those daily tasks lining up to the objectives that we're trying to accomplish, whether it's college, whether it's a career, whether it's college and a career. We have to create our own plan to move forward.
So you want to do your own and then know your value and present it and put together a strong resume or CV utilizing all of those skills. So what's your best tip on that? What's your best knowledge to give out to your fellow vets?
Well, to me, that's the most important one. And this was the one that I struggled with years ago. I mean, believe it or not, Microsoft or Amazon really doesn't care whether or not you were airborne, whether or not you went to sniper school, air assault school. But what they will find very, very impressive is the fact that you're reliable, dependable, and resilient. You're a problem solver. I mean, if you put together that body of work during your military service, you start throwing out those attributes, what time you got up in the morning, what time you finished, how many days you spent in the field, and you start talking about actually getting things done, you become very, very impressive in an interview.
Awesome. And that's important to share your background, putting it out there, and just be confident. I know you got a new book out there as well. Your website, StephenNally.com. One more word to all your fellow veterans this Memorial Day weekend, my friend.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Memorial Day is a very special day to veterans. It's not a day of celebration. It's a day of a remembrance to remember all those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And to all the veterans out there, a lot of them, I know this is a tough day. But stay strong. That's pretty much it.
Stay strong.
Yes, and Stephen, we thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom, and we thank you for your service as well as all our fellow vets.
Hey, absolutely, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much. And if you'd like more, find out or from Stephen, head over to his website, StephenNally.com. We'll have all the information up on our screen.
Yeah, great guy. All right, 4 siblings are taking home top honors after a challenging year.
Yeah, Julissa caught up with them out in Vacaville with more on that with the valedictorians, right?
Yeah.